Ever find yourself wondering, why does adult life feel like I'm holding my breath? Like no matter what you do, how much you grow, how intentional you are, it still feels like something is off. That used to be me. For years, I lived in survival mode, always doing, always fixing, always proving, and still feeling lost. I was always exhausted. On the outside, I kept going, but on the inside, I was stuck in loops like created by all those emotional wounds I didn't ask for. If you were raised by a narcissistic parent, I want you to hear this with so you're not broken. You're recovering. Your adult life, your entire experience of being a woman, a mother, a friend, a partner, has likely been shaped by emotional enmeshment that taught you to ignore you. You were groomed to become an extension of someone else's needs. And now you're trying to be your own person. But the wiring still runs deep. Let's talk about what adult life actually looks like when you come from that kind of childhood. Because I promise you, you are not alone. You wake up tired, you go to sleep tired, and in between, you're running on fumes. That's not laziness or lack of motivation. It's your nervous system doing its best to survive years of high alert mode. When you grow up under constant criticism, chaos, or emotional neglect, your body learns that peace is unsafe. So exhaustion becomes your baseline. Rest is not safe in those environments. You also feel like you overwork to feel worthy. You feel valuable only when you are achieving something. Rest feels like guilt. Stillness feels like failure. You keep hoping that if you do just enough, you'll finally be enough. But the truth is, external achievements will never fill the hole that was created by the internal neglect. It's not your fault. It's the programming. You tend to feel like you're faking adulthood, right? You smile through it, but inside, you're wondering if everyone else got a memo you missed. The one that explains how to be a confident adult with boundaries, a calm presence, a sense of self. You didn't get that manual. You got survival skills. And now, as you try to thrive, you feel like an imposter. You also feel like you don't know what you want. You know how to care for others. You know how to anticipate everyone's needs. But when someone asks you what you want, you freeze. Because you were taught your needs were too much, inconvenient, irrelevant. So now, even asking yourself what you want feels selfish or unfamiliar. Yep. Also, you tend to carry guilt that isn't yours. You feel bad for setting boundaries. You feel guilty for being distant from family. You feel like a burden for saying no. That's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because your guilt compass was manipulated. You were conditioned to feel responsible for everyone else's emotions. And now you're unlearning that lie. Hopefully. And you always feel like you're too much or you're not enough. Right? In friendships, relationships, even with strangers, you overanalyze yourself. Did I talk too much? Am I too sensitive? Am I draining? Right? This internal compass of self-doubt, it comes from a childhood where you either were ignored or overly criticized. You never got to just be. So now even being takes effort. Authority triggers you. Bosses, teachers, coaches, sometimes even other adults. You either fear them or you feel this resistance toward them. Why? Because the authority you experienced growing up wasn't safe or fair. It was manipulative, controlling, and emotionally immature. So now your body remembers and reacts. You attract broken ones. You feel compelled to fix people, rescue them, love them into healing. And while that sounds noble, it often leaves you depleted because you're recreating the dynamic of your childhood where your worth came from saving others, not from being seen and loved for you. You feel everyone's emotions except your own. You're the therapist friend, the fixer, the one who just knows what someone else is feeling. But when it comes to your own emotions, silence, numbness, confusion. That's because you're trained to prioritize the emotional world of others and taught that yours didn't matter. You struggle to talk about your childhood. You might downplay it. You might laugh it off. Maybe you avoid it entirely. Either way, the pain is there. Unspoken doesn't mean unfelt. And often, we tell ourselves it's in the past. But the truth is, it's still in our bodies, our choices, our relationships, our nervous system. But here's the good news, sis. You don't have to stay in that loop. You're allowed to heal. You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to exist in your own life. You are allowed to stop performing and rescuing and carrying emotional weight that was never yours to begin with. And you're allowed to begin again in softness, in slowness, in truth. This journey of reclaiming yourself isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who you had to be. So if you're walking through this now, of peeling back the layers of pain, doubt, and survival, I want you to know this. I see you. I'm so serious. I see you. I honor you. And I'm walking with you, one step at a time.